Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spiritual Readiness and the Time of the Shift. Today, I want to talk to you about a blind spot that is visible to me in the light community, in the enlightened and conscious community. It has to do with this obsession in some aspect of our world to battle, to constantly see the world either in black and white, and not to try to reconcile within ourselves the inner demons that's causing, flaming all of this. I have, in all disclosure, I too, at some early point of my development, was battling as well. And it took a very specific spiritual experience in which I had a connection with a celestial being who offered to teach me neutrality. And since then, it's been coaching me for me to actually be in a different space. What I mean to say is that, particularly with the shift, which is about authenticity, truth, and transparency, I have noticed that there's a lot of beautiful souls who mean well, who have all the good intention in the world to help humanity find an ascended tomorrow, who are trying to force this ascended tomorrow grid by trying to battle with the sword what they see as the negative forces that are resisting it. Okay? They are attacking through ritual, through group work, what they perceive as fallen angelic and negative ET principalities. Now, here is the great danger here. These forces, and they do exist, are not concerned about the triviality of your life. Okay? Whatever it is that you're doing, they don't see you. They have bigger fish to fry. But the moment you begin to participate in these so-called rituals, ceremonies, where you're trying to exorcise the influence of these forces from the earth, or you're trying to anchor light into a very specific grid and trying to exclude darkness, you're battling. And the moment you do this, these forces see you. And I mean, they see you. And since they are immortal beings and their rancor run very deep, no matter how well protected you think you are, no matter how many sigil, bubble of light, shields, and everything else that you think you have, they will find a way to get to you. And I mean by that, if they cannot get to you directly, they're going to attack what you love the most. And what you love the most, maybe your job, maybe your family members, it doesn't matter. They will find a way to attack you, to reciprocally respond to the attack that you levied on them. And I have met more recently a lot of these beautiful beings who were misguided by participating in these ceremonies, who are absolutely unraveling. There are all kind of chaos that are taking place around them. They're in tears, they are falling apart, and they're asking me for help. I know that neutrality is not obvious, but it exists in nature. At an atomic level, there exists protons that are positively charged and electrons that are negatively charged, but there also exist neutrons that are zero charge. And that zero charge is neutrality. And I don't mean by that that you're going to become Switzerland and you're not going to participate at all in what the world, what's the darkness, and stop trying to combat any kind of iniquity. It's the exact opposite. Because when you're trying to levy, when you're polarized, okay, or let's say you're on the side of light or the dark, doesn't matter. What both sides are trying to do is to completely annihilate the other. Neutrality is a third choice. What it's saying, basically, I need to reconcile within myself the darkness that exists in me. Okay? I first begin by actually becoming neutral to the outside, to all the people in my family, to all the friends, everyone that I've ever met, everyone I'm at work, everyone that I'm ever dealing with. I become neutral to them. Then then I proceed to institution, countries, races, gender. I keep going and keep going. Nature, the earth, all of the reasons, maybe my negative thought caused famine and caused all kinds of hurricanes and disasters to happen. I become neutral to all of this. Then once I have done this, then I go internally within myself. And that's the hardest and the most difficult part, to become neutral to self, to realize that within myself are also shadows. Okay? That I have failings and I failed in the past. And I need to forgive myself for these failings. And that, to my mind, was the work that took the longest. And once you have done this, you become relatively neutral. And at that point, you're holding a frequency of, because when you recognize the failing within yourself, you understand why someone else could fall into that path. Moreover, because you've done the work now to reconcile yourself, you can counsel them how to find that neutrality as well. Now, for all these people who are battling, what they are not realizing is that neutrality is not a disconnect to the injustices of the world. Rather, it's accelerated conflict resolution. What it does is that it gives you the opportunity to actually accelerate, because once you're within yourself, you're neutral, and without you become neutral, you become, you broadcast something else. I'll never forget one of these being a young soul, probably in his 30s, came to one of my classes. I had met him once before. And long and short of the story, told me that he had some sort of demon that was attacking him and causing all kind of problem if I could exorcise it from him. And I sat with him and talked for almost an hour and a half trying to explain to him what I was doing. I'm not an exorcist. I don't do this. But I was trying to give him kind of an understanding that I can show him how to become neutral to that energy. And as I was talking to him, I said to him, I'm curious, since you've been sitting here talking to me, has this entity moved at all in your body? He said, it's funny, Pierre. It's been the first time in 3 months where that entity has not moved at all. I said, because the entity knows that I'm neutral to it. I have no desire to yank it out of your body. I'm not taking Chucky away from you. I can show you how to become neutral to it, so that whatever conflict exists within can be at peace. There can be reconciliation. Okay? And I'm saying this to give you an example and try to illustrate what I'm trying to lead you into. And one of the manner in which I help achieve that neutrality, I use the Ho'oponopono prayer from the Kahunas of Hawaii. And the full liturgy goes something like this. Divine Creator, Mother, Father, and Son as one. If me, my family, and ancestors had hurt you, your family or ancestors, since the beginning of times until now, by thoughts, by deeds, by words, by action, by inactions, please forgive me. I love you unconditionally, and I let go. And so this is the prayer that I used to help me become neutral. Short version of this, please forgive me. I love you, and I let go. And I have repeated those two sentences, please forgive me. I love you, and I let go, over and over again, like I'm saying the rosary or a mantra, to multiple people, institution, to myself. When I find, for example, there is a failing in me, and I'm ashamed of the feeling. I feel completely like I'm the worst person in the world. I ask myself for forgiveness. What this is implying, unlike what the Bible is saying, you must forgive, 70 times 70. This is saying that in a time that I don't remember, if you're trying to attack me now, it's because in a time that I don't remember, I must have attacked you. I must have hurt you and offended you in some ways. I'm preemptively, therefore, asking you for forgiveness. I'm taking 50% responsibility. It's proactive. It's a matter of resolution. There's one more aspect of neutrality that I want to point out to you. Typically speaking, the people who are battling had very specific fixed aim. Okay? They have a vision of tomorrow, and that vision is very fixed, and this is the aim, and this is where they're going. I need, it's going to be this way, the world is going to be that way, and they see it only that way. Let me just tell you that from a neutral and spiritual standpoint, source, the divine, God, whatever you want to call it, is infinite. And its goal and aim are perpetually becoming. And when you have only a fixed aim, you're only perceiving a fraction of the infinitude that's in front of you. When you're neutral, you see it all. Moreover, it allows you to mirror the infinity that exists. It allows you to become much more flexible and much more open. It allows you to bring to you an understanding that perpetually evolves so that you can shift into a higher and higher and higher understanding. If you are indeed battling, if you are indeed part of the collective that I'm talking about, I would recommend that you seek neutrality. I have a whole chapter in my book, A Primer for Ascension, that goes into great detail of what neutrality is and what it is not. So I would recommend maybe you might want to take a look at that. I don't know of a lot of other people who are really talking about this. So I would recommend reading that and maybe get in touch with me if you have comments. Please like this video, subscribe. Let me know what you're thinking. I love you very deeply, and I'll talk to you next week. Thank you.